Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Judy Stang, and welcome to the Springfield Forum. We're glad you're here today because we always have good conversations about your future, and today is no different. I hope that you know that we are located in the Nemours building, and we are a degree completion program. So please take a look at us, and when you can, like on a Saturday, come on over, especially the second and third week of July coming up. Now, I want to tell you that if you are looking around and wondering what it is you want to do next, if you still have not completed your degree, come and look at Springfield College School of Professional and Continuing Education, the Wilmington campus. The other thing that I want to remind you of is think about your time, because the closer we get to September, you'll look around and some of your friends will be doing just what you want to do. So come on over the second or third week of September on a Saturday and take a look at who we are and what it is that we do. And today we're going to tell you a little bit about what students have the opportunity to accomplish right here in our community. With me is Dr. Gwendolyn Sanders. She is the president of our campus advisory board. And Dr. Sanders, you know how important it is for students who are getting degrees in human services to know about the community.
And yes, I do. And that's one of the strong points of the campus. It's about making change in communities. It's about identifying issues and seeing what you can do about them. And we're very much research-based. And we have with us today one of our students who's going to talk about her project, and she's going to introduce this gentleman that's with her and all the wonderful things he's doing and has done since he's been in Delaware. And what he's doing now, she's going to tell us all about it, and he's going to tell us about the program connected with the project and the agency with which she works. And she's going to let us know what that agency is. But first I want to ask Donna, why did you select Springfield College?
Well, as a full-time student, being able to go to school on the weekends, because I work full-time during the week, was the best opportunity for me. And the learning style that how Springfield teaches with all the different projects and that is something that works really well for me.
And why did you select the particular project? What was your focus? What was your reason for selecting this particular issue?
Well, the social issue of homelessness has been a passion of mine. In my 5 and 10 year goals I have planned. And when we decided the students were working on what issue we were going to decide on, we narrowed it down to each of us picking two different programs or issues. And homelessness, we voted, became the main one that we wanted to work on.
Okay, I see that your shirt says HOPE. Would you tell me what that means and what that stands for?
HOPE stands for Helping Other People Excel. We wanted to empower the homeless and give them resources and skills that they needed to become self-sufficient.
Now tell us about your project.
Well, we worked with Connections, and this is Harrison Reeder, and he's from an ACT team that has many homeless individuals. And we did 4 different workshops. They included financial budgeting and learning how to write a check, open a checking account, things like that.
Who did you do this for?
We did this for approximately 45 different participants that came each week through Connections.
How did you identify how did you get them there?
We talked with each different ACT team, because currently in Northern Delaware there are 5 different ACT teams working with Connections, and each team has approximately 100 clients. but not all of them are homeless. Connections has a lot of different programs, and one of their main programs is working with the homeless. They have clients that are in temporary housing, in motels, and they work to give them the skills for them to become self-sufficient also.
So why did you select Connections as your organization?
Well, I work for them also, and I know all the wonderful things that they do. And because they have so many resources, and they're one of the largest companies that work with the homeless population.
Okay, now tell us about one of the workshops that you think was most successful.
The job readiness program, the workshop, that was the best one. And I think it was the most fun too. We had one participant that we provided him with a suit, a shirt, jacket, tie, shoes and everything, and he came to the job readiness program dressed in what to wear to a job interview. And then I came dressed as what not to wear. And so, it was definitely fun. And the participants then we asked them what I was wearing, what was wrong with it. And they were able to tell every detail of what I chose to wear, including I put on a rainbow headband. And they said that that symbolized, maybe that I represented a gang, and so that wouldn't be good to wear it in an interview. And they joked that I was part of the Rainbow Unicorn Gang because of the headband.
Okay, are there other members of your team?
There are 3 other members that worked on the research and each workshop.
Okay, and so the first one, what was the second most successful one?
Probably the conflict resolution and communication skills workshop. A lot of the client participants were saying that they had trouble just with their neighbors or what to say on an interview. They would get, easily upset. And so we discussed with them how to active listen and skills of what to put on their resume and how to, like one of the games that we kind of played with them was I gave them a pen and I said, okay, now you take the pen from her, get the pen from her, but I didn't tell them how. And so many of them would just grab the pen away, but only one person in the group said, may I have the pen?
Okay.
So, and that was eye-opening for all of them that's all they had to do.
Okay, so what is it, how do you think it impacts the connections? Do you think your project made an impact on connections?
I'm positive it did, because I see a lot of the participants still every day in the streets when I'm out working, and they constantly ask, when are we going to have more workshops? They really enjoyed it. We've had several success stories of some of the participants. One particular gentleman now has a full-time job, his own apartment. He is now a peer for Connections.
Oh, very good. Now,
great.
you mentioned something about teams. Now, could you share with us,
Harrison, you want to?
Sure, absolutely. Connections have these programs where we have 5 different ACT teams in the state of Delaware. And what that is, that's assertive community treatment. The assertive community treatment is a team of individuals who basically service the consumers. We have about, I think it's around 11 on each team, starting with, you would have 3 master level clinicians, you have 1 vocational specialist, you would have a drug and alcohol specialist, you would have a peer specialist, you would have 2 nurses, and you would have a program assistant, and also you would have a psychiatrist. So we then wrap around those particular consumers and help them with whatever services they need. This HOPE program, I actually see some of the effects of it, because we have our job specialist, vocational specialist, which is Mr. Lamont Jackson. you can see that some of the work that has come from the H.O.P.E program has helped him even with help servicing the consumers with getting jobs. So it really, really is a rewarding experience.
Okay, if there was something, do you think that the program that they started will continue?
The H.O.P.E program?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I think that it would be great if it would continue because, you know, for the population that we're dealing with, to help build that self-esteem, to help make them feel some self-worth, work is like the most incredible thing to help with self-esteem. And when you're talking to her about the program and what she put together, and then you look at what we're doing, when you collaborate those two programs together, then you got a success story.
Okay, now how do you feel about, how does your team feel about what you've done? Do you feel it was an accomplishment, and why? Did you see any changes while you were doing it? I know you said there were people who are coming up to you now asking you, when are you going to do this again, and when are you going to do that again? Is there any indication? What can you sell to them?
There's definitely a benefit from us doing the workshops. I'm the peer on our ACT team, and so now I work with the job coach, and we use the Jeopardy game that we played to enhance resume building, giving them skills, certain words to use on their resumes. And so it not only helps the job coach, it helps the participants, the clients, and that's what the whole team does.
I remember you saying something about providing kits. What are those kits? Little kitty cats? No.
Connections provided us with a lot of resources for our workshops. They gave us personal hygiene bags that had everything in it from shampoo, conditioner, razors, shaving cream, a comb, sanitary items, and that. And we had specific bags for males and females. And one of the workshops we did was the personal hygiene, because you can't go to an interview and have a lot of odor. It might deter them wanting to employ you. And the participants were very receptive to this workshop. We were a little nervous at first because that's a delicate situation. But we brought them clothing that they could go through and pick out, and they were very happy about it and very receptive.
Okay, in doing some of those things, is there something that you can think of now that you would have done differently?
I would have invited some of the city councilmen and government agencies to come and participate in the workshops with the homeless, not just come and watch them. Have them interact and see that the homeless is not just people that don't want to work or are lazy, or that they're just drug and alcohol people, that they really are everyday people that have just situations that have happened to them, and it could be any number of us. That many people are just a paycheck away from being homeless.
So I know you mentioned alcohol addiction, and I guess some of that you pick up in your program, and drug addictions, right?
We do. And to go back on the homeless aspect of this, what we're talking about, Connections also, we make sure that you may get a referral where we may get a consumer who doesn't have any housing. So initially, that consumer, we will try to find them housing, and we will actually do application like it's called an SRAP or Connections HUD, so we could fund their housing for them. So they really wouldn't be homeless, but for so long, and we might put them up into a motel until we find that appropriate housing for them. So we work towards that ultimate goal of them having some type of housing. For substance abuse, actually Kim is the substance abuse specialist on my team, and she does a great job. So we also offer different programs where we have treatment facilities right in Wilmington that would actually help people to stay in for 30 days and help them to go through that whole recovery process. So
So do you find, both of you, do you find that having a home is a stabilizer?
it is the stabilizer. You know, you think about if you got up and if you didn't have somewhere to shower, if you didn't have somewhere to prepare your meal, if you didn't have somewhere to just have some privacy, how would you feel if you were out in the street and didn't have anywhere to go? And then also the climate, either heat or air condition. So, you know, those are necessities that we have to have in order to survive. So, you know, one of the things, Captain McKay and Chris Devaney, they've helped us with this whole system of helping the consumers to get that particular type of environment for them. So.
Oh, you want to comment on that,
Yeah,
Stang?
one of the things that we noticed through our research and the discussions with the participants is that many of the homeless people do not have ID cards, okay? And you have to have, one, you have to have your birth certificate, which costs $25. Then you have to have the $25 to get the ID card. And many of the homeless, they don't have those resources. But you can't even walk into the Social Security building without an ID card to even apply for Social Security.
Right.
You can't apply for food stamps without an ID card. You can't apply for many of the housing subsidies without an ID card. Even to rent an apartment, you must have an ID card. And that was something that we found was very lacking in the resources for the homeless.
So what did you do with that? How did you solve that?
Well, we went
At least for the ones that you were working with.
right. We found that there are other agencies out there that do help. They have limited resources, and that's where more funding from the city governments would benefit them. And one of those programs was the fellowship. They help with birth certificates and ID cards, but that's a main area. They don't have. Also, they're the lacking of the showers, like Harrison said. There are certain homeless shelters out there, but the homeless are then asked to leave at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're not able to return until 5, 6 o'clock at night. So then there's no place for them to go during the day either. And they have to carry all their belongings. And one of the other problems is the food. We help them a lot with food bags, but a lot of the food bags contain what? Canned goods. But they also don't contain a can opener. That was something that we found.
Well, and I think it's so interesting to have you deal with the intricacies of what it means to be homeless, and just you stated, and thinking about you get canned goods and you don't get a can opener, and then is it something you can eat out of the can, or do you have to heat it up someplace?
Right.
So you have to think of all of that. The birth certificate and the ID card is really significant, and to us, when you were presenting their program, and you think about it, it's $25 to get it, and where do you have to go to get it? And I noticed that in the city, the Dr. Jackie Jenkins was instrumental in having Vital Statistics come into, at least they have a temporary location so that they can go and get the birth certificate.
Right, because the closest one is in Newark.
Right. And so we appreciate the city being able to do something like that. If there was something different in your program at Springfield College that you would change, what would it be?
At the college, wow, I've had such a wonderful experience.
That's good enough.
Okay. I really have, though. I have really enjoyed the projects. Sometimes they can be difficult, but that's where you learn.
Yes. And I must say that this young lady has gone through some transition with regard to the learning process and learning how to do research and doing research.
Yeah.
And you've come through very well. Wouldn't you say so,
I
Dr.
think so.
Stang?
I remember when Donna came the first class weekend, and she said to me, "I don't know. I really don't know." And I said, "What don't you know?" "I don't know. This is the place." I said, "Dawn, it's the place for you. Go back to class." And she has just thrived
That's superb.
and really succeeded, and we're very proud of you. Now, before we go, if you had someone who was wondering if they should come, what would be the number one thing you would tell them?
It just takes one step. Just come in the door,
Okay.
and you'll feel it. It's like a family there.
So, there you are. That was said very succinctly. Harrison, I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We have a strong relationship with Connections.
And we'll continue.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
And as you know, we have a Master of Science in Human Services with a concentration in mental health counseling. It is a very robust program, and it's very clinical. So if you're interested in doing that kind of work, then Springfield College is for you. We also have a concentration at the undergrad level. So you would earn a Bachelor of Science in Human Services, and you could choose a concentration in criminal justice or a concentration in early childhood. And as you know, early childhood and mental health right now, they're coming together and fusing.
Absolutely.
I hope that what you heard this afternoon is something that will motivate you to continue your college education. And we just want to thank you for being with us. And again, our number is 302-658-5720. If you are interested, call that number, leave your name, and just name somebody that was on this show today, and we will cover your undergrad application fee and your graduate.
Say your name.
Donna Simpson.
Say your name.
Harrison Reeder.
There you go. One
All
of
right.
those names will
Bye-bye.
get you a free application fee.